my life dramatically. And, I feel blessed to do it every day. I dial in, I focus, I just immerse myself in information constantly. And, then I get to meet great guys like you. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I mean, listen, for folks who don't do this, to think about 30 years and you have to manage vacations, personal life, crisis,
vacation,
challenges,
what is that?
issues. Well, I mean, listen, you've made money.
I get some.
You've made a few $100 million. You're a pretty wealthy guy.
Are you sure about that? I read all these net worth statements. Nobody's ever gotten it right.
Stop it. Really?
No.
I don't believe it.
They haven't gotten the number right.
They haven't gotten the number right? No. Can I give a range? I'm going to give a range.
Oh, you want to know how much I'm worth?
I'm going to give a range.
Do you think I'm telling you that?
Well, then don't say that they haven't gotten it right.
All right, these people, these people will always... They will go right to the ends of the ends to support their dear leader, Donald J. Trump, which is awesome. It is amazing. And Sean Hannity is not only a Trump supporter, he is a true friend of Donald J. Trump. I think Sean Hannity is, if I'm not mistaken, the only guy who has never shit on Donald J. Trump. Most of the people who are supposedly support, because there's a difference between people who are supporting Donald J. Trump and people who are actually his friends and who support him. Sean Hannity is one of the true friends, is one of the people you can say is Donald Trump's truest friend, who will never see anything bad with anything that Donald J. Trump does. To him, Trump is Jesus. To him, Trump is the chosen one from heaven. So Sean Hannity is a true friend of Donald Trump, and they are saying it as if they're joking. He has made lots of money working for Fox. 30 years working in the same company. That is a lot of money. And he can say what he wants at any time. Fox has never really pinned him down, as if they pin anybody down, except Tucker Carlson, who was scapegoated from Fox. There have been a few people who have been scapegoated from Fox, but Sean Hannity is almost like the untouchable. And he is a true friend of Donald J. Trump. On this PBD podcast, he is going to defend Trump till the end of this planet, not only this world. He is going to defend Trump. No matter what Vinny is going to say, if at all Vinny is going to attack him like Vinny does when it comes to this Epstein file covered up. I don't know, I haven't watched this, but I will let you guys watch this and let us just see if Vinny is going to go hard on Sean Hannity. I love it because Sean Hannity is sat next to Vinny. So let's see how this intense conversation concerning the what's it called? The Washington Street Journal, is that how it's called? The news that they brought in, and Donald Trump suing them, knowing that that newspaper belongs to Fox Empire and Sean Hannity works for Fox. So how is this going to go? Let us find out, and I'll be so happy if you guys can keep pushing my platform. I just want to get that YouTube button. That is my goal. I just want to get that YouTube button, and that can only happen if you guys keep supporting this channel. I know it's a new channel. I know the channel it's a new channel, and I need you guys. So subscribe, like, comment, and let's keep the conversation going. So let's go.
If they've got it right or not. But the biggest part about it that's inspiring to younger guys that are coming up is that if you're out there, you work your ass off long term, you stay consistent, steady, you can make life-changing money in this business. But it takes discipline, hard work, outlast, outperform, out-improve, and you've simply been able to do it.
I'm so glad you said that, because the real work is not on the air. The on-air part is the fun part, right? It's all the research, all the reading. I just immerse myself 5 days a week, and that's pretty much all I do, in one capacity or another.
Well, you mind if we get into stories? Because
I don't care. This is your podcast. Yeah, I'm just a guest.
Well,
here.
Listen, if you say that, then I'm going to get into real stories. I'm just telling you, because you happen to be in a very, strange place that I don't even know if you can speak on the story or not. Because on one end, you work for Fox News.
I do.
Okay, and you've been there for
30 years.
30 years in October.
And
thank you. Somebody has a memory here.
Let's go.
And 30 years with Fox News. On the other end, you have a very good relationship with the president, President Trump.
I do.
And so you're kind of in the middle of the thing where last week I'm not sure if you can speak on it or not. Obviously, we're going to open up with the story because it's you, Fox, Trump, and we've been talking about this whole Epstein thing for a minute. Trump, while everyone's talking about everything that's going on, you post this message last week on all the victories that most people are not looking. They're overlooking. Rob, if you can play this clip real quick, and you're going to react to yourself real quick. Go ahead, Rob.
One ugly guy. That I have been a longtime friend and supporter. I've been very transparent of President Trump. But even I am frankly amazed at what he has been able to do against all odds in such a very short period of time. What we're living through, you better take, really close notes, because you most likely will never see this again in your lifetime. The single most consequential, transformational presidency in our lifetime. And without a doubt, the underlying theme of the White House, promises made, right, promises kept.
Okay, so the different victories that he's had, President Trump, we've seen him, we followed very closely on what he's done. Then all of a sudden, Wall Street Journal releases a story last week. I want to say, is it last week? Tuesday? Yeah, last week. About a letter that the president got or wrote to Epstein at his 50th birthday party, I believe. And Rob, if you tell me what letter this page is on. Trump says, okay, I'm going to cause a release. Okay, I'm saying Trump. Okay, so is that page 5? Trump sues Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch, over the Epstein letter. Okay, and as you go through the letter, most people are saying this is not true. Most people are saying this is not a real story. Most people are saying he's not doing this. He's not doodling. Well, he does doodle. No, he doesn't doodle. My father would never write this. Everyone's going back and forth because this Epstein thing became, in my opinion, I've said it on Jesse, I've said it on many different places, it was a fumble. I don't think it was handled properly. Promises were made. Promises were not kept when it comes down to this specific topic. And I rated a lot of different people. And he's over the years said a lot of bad things about Epstein on camera. He said, here's a guy that, did he kill himself? Did he not kill himself? Did this happen? Did that not happen? Who knows what happened? We got to get to the bottom of it. And you're in the middle. How do you manage for you? You go to work. Your friend is Trump, President Trump, for many years. And your boss is Rupert Murdoch. They used to be good. Now he is suing your boss for $10 billion. How do you manage that?
It's easy. I just always tell the truth. It's not really that complicated. I have been blessed to work for a company that lets me be me. And honestly, that is rare in broadcasting. You're independent. You make your own decisions, right? But for the most part, I make my own decisions. I don't have these handcuffs on that maybe some other people at other networks do. What I do for a living is I am a member of the press, right? I can produce thousands of hours of straight news coverage, radio and TV, over my career. I can produce thousands of hours of investigative reporting. I can produce thousands of hours of opinion, but I'm upfront. I'm honest. I am a conservative. I don't hide the fact that I support Donald Trump. I can produce thousands of hours, radio and TV, topics on culture and sports and anything else that's going on in the world. So I just find it interesting. Whenever I find for myself, when people start getting really loud and emotional and rushing to judgment, I have this reaction. I pull back. One of the things, my first thought is on the Epstein files is if there was something so damning in there about Donald Trump and the weaponized Department of Justice of Joe Biden had it, does anyone here doubt they would have released it?
Just one, Sean, if they're all on it too. If Bill Clinton and all that group is in there, they're like, we really want to, but we can't because we're in with him.
It could have selectively leaked, though. I mean, they're more sophisticated than that.
True, but then
right?
the investigation opens up, Sean. I see where you're coming from, but that's what it felt like to I'm just like you. I love the president. I love what he's doing. Pat mentioned that he stumbled, but that's the one thing that hit me in my head where I'm like, maybe, I'm not saying he's definitely on it, but I mean, he knew the guy. Maybe they're all on it. They're all on it as well.
Okay, so add one more piece to the puzzle, right? Because to me, it's a puzzle, people trying to put it together. 20 plus years ago, he threw his ass out of Mar-a-Lago. Mm-hmm, right. Okay, now, if you got something on somebody, you're going to throw him out of your club in a spectacular fashion and embarrass the hell out of the guy and not expect that guy's going to come back at you with information if he had it? I don't know. That's hard for me to believe. Let me backtrack a hair and how my brain works and the way I approach things. You want the long version or the short one?
What I want to know is if there's anyone qualified.
I have a long version.
No, give me. You're 30 years you've been in this business. Yeah. You're in New York. You come to Florida a lot.
No, I live in Florida. I'm done.
I'm out of New York. I saw that. May. When you went down, yeah, freaking. Oh, you're welcome. We did the same thing. We left California. We lived in Dallas 5 years now. We've been here 4 years. We love it. But your understanding of what's happened with Epstein, you've been in this 30 years. 30 years is a long time ago where stories, 90s, 95 come in and you're hearing stuff about this guy. What is your impression? Is this a bad guy? Is this guy, did this guy do what he did? Because some people are saying, who knows if he did? Now they're saying, who knows if the stories are right or
I
wrong?
know the story. When he got kicked out of Mar-a-Lago, it was because of how he treated young women. That I know for a fact. It wasn't for no reason at all. That the reason he got kicked out was because of his treatment of young women at Mar-a-Lago. Let me backtrack to what I was going to say. So I was a local radio host before I started at Fox in Atlanta. First, I spent 5 years in Santa Barbara, California. I went to Huntsville, Alabama, was paid $19,000 a year, but I loved what I was doing. I loved being behind this microphone. Then I got a promotion to a big market, Atlanta. I was there from 92 to 96. I can get you the year-end edition of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. 1996 was a great year. The Olympics came and Sean Hannity left. I have that framed.
That's great.
That's pretty cool, right? And I guess I had some impact on the market. And then that's when I got hired by Fox, so I went up to Fox. However, my last year there, remember the Olympics in the city of Atlanta? Remember that? Okay. Remember a guy by the name of Richard Jewell?
Of course, he was the guy that I think
They were
found
calling
the-
him
yeah.
Security guy that was falsely accused when he
Falsely
actually
accused, yes.
found the backpack.
Okay. Here's the better part of the story.
Oh, they
So-
made a movie about this guy. Yes, of course.
I'm on the
Yes.
air the day that the Atlanta Journal-Constitution comes out with, he fits the profile of the lone bomber because he lives with his mother. Okay. Maybe he lives with his mother because he wants to save money, right?
I like where this
So
guy's head's at.
I was instinctively on the air suspicious that this is, I'm not rushing a judgment here. Little did I know, and I found out later, Richard Jewell was listening to my program at that moment. And we had a conversation later. I got one of the early interviews with him. According to his lawyer, the stress of all this killed this guy, getting hammered in the press. It went on for a long, long period of time. But when he came on the program, that taught me a valuable lesson about rushing a judgment. So I have a history, right? Everyone has a history in broadcasting. And I've learned not to rush to judgment. And I like to watch stories develop. That's why I said when people start going in and, racing out there and they're trying to outdo each other and they want to be first and they got their theory. And I kind of feel a little bit like this on the Epstein story. But if you go through my list of issues I got right over the years and everyone else in the corrupt legacy state-run media mob got wrong, I was right about Duke Lacrosse. I went to meet with those families. I talked to them. I knew exculpatory evidence was coming out. UVA, I was right on that. Everybody else was wrong. Ferguson, Missouri, I had so many police contacts that were telling me, Sean, there are multiple African-American eyewitnesses that will corroborate Darren Wilson's story. I got that right. Everybody else went with hands up, don't shoot, which is a crock of bullshit. I try not to rush to judgment. I got Freddie Gray in Baltimore right. I got George Zimmerman right because I went down, and I also had a law enforcement contact that told me, no, there's going to be testimony from an eyewitness that says that George Zimmerman was on the ground and there was a ground and pound and his head was being pounded into the cement. Then I can go to Russia collusion, the FISA warrants, the impeachment 1, impeachment 2, all of these other witch hunts against Trump. How did I end up? Is it an accident that I end up on the right side of those stories? I'm not, Patrick Bet-David, I am not tooting my own horn. I am only saying what works for me is when everyone goes deep and they're just rushing in, I tend to just do this and pull back. That's what I'm doing here. Now, I have a history. I know Pam Bondi for 30 years. I've known Dan Bongino forever. I mean, we have a good relationship. I know Kash Patel. I've known him forever. So maybe did they thought there was information in there? Yeah, my understanding is that the files had names of victims. My understanding is the tapes were taken from Epstein's. And again, these are sources. I'm not definitively saying it, but the tapes were, kiddie porn. Are they going to release kiddie porn? Are they going to release the names of victims? Now, what they are trying to do, which I think is very smart, and I'd like to see it.
You believe what
I'm not
saying?
right now, I'm in the point where I've not rushed to judgment. I'm not making a decision. I'm giving you the honest answer.
You believe that. So maybe from my stand, you have to realize that this is so tough because 3 times I voted for this guy. I'm speaking for myself, right? Yeah. 16, 20, and 24. When you come out and Bondi tells media, at
a restaurant,
James O'Keefe's group, when they're coming and recording, there's terrible things in those tapes.
$10,000.
Cash comes out, says things about them. Bongino comes out saying, I'm in a Fox room with another person that I can't say their name because Fox didn't allow me to give the name, that the footage that they have goes back to Mossad, and it's all linked back to Mossad with Epstein.
By the way, how the hell did the Mossad get pulled into this? How did
Mossad get pulled into Epstein?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand the connection. Because his father somehow might have been connected to him?
Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell.
Mr. Hannity, let's not play
Maxwell.
games here.
Yeah.
You know the Mossad runs the United States. Everyone knows that.
No, by the way, he's being
I'm
sarcastic.
joking, by the way. But certain members of our audience believe that.
So,
Why do you feel that's such a
there were
distraction?
people that didn't want to take out Iran's nuclear facilities. For the life of me, I cannot understand that. For the life of me, there is a vein of, I would argue, virulent anti-Semitism. We see it in the halls of Congress. We see it on college campuses. But it's simple, basic, fundamental common sense. What frustrates me about that issue is that if that's your reason for not wanting to take out their nuclear sites, you don't understand the Trump doctrine. Because in his first term, He kicked the crap out of the ISIS caliphate, defeated them in record time, took out Baghdadi and associates, took out Soleimani, dropped the mother of all bombs in Afghanistan. And so the Trump doctrine is, yeah, sure, no forever wars. I'm with you. I don't want forever wars. We can't ever go back and do what we did in Iraq ever again. With the advancement of military technology, we won't have to fight wars that way. Future wars will be fought in air-conditioned offices. But I say all that, and it's like, did you not understand the Trump doctrine?
Wait, let me go back to what you said. Yeah. So you 30 years, Fox, you're not under the impression of any stories that Jeffrey Epstein and his brother Mark may be linked back to Mossad with Israel, with the amount
I have
of
no evidence of that.
So 32 times the prime minister of Israel visits.
Oh, Ehud Barak.
Yeah, in his apartment, and he's seen leaving with a mask covering his face.
That's not a valid concern?
Oh, no, it is a valid concern.
Okay.
Just because I say that I stand back and wait, I'm just telling you, I can't give you a definitive answer today. Now, do I want to get to the bottom of all of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do find people getting over their skis a little bit in their commentary. That's my humble opinion. And
self-inflicted, though. I think a part of this is self-inflicted.
They should be. You never want to overpromise and underdeliver.
To me,
never.
To me, it would have stopped right there. Because if I run for office and I say, here's the 5 things, this is what's important to me. And then all of a sudden, guys on my team start making promises. Oh, we're going to do this. And then they go on podcasts. And we're going to do, and let me tell you, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, guys, listen. Who are you? When you say we, who is we? Are you representing me? Did I tell you we're going to do that? We're not doing that. I'm going to let you know, take the lead. So I feel the way they got into this debacle is they did it to themselves. Now, there's plenty of research, independent journalists that have done to find out stuff about Epstein that they're not too comfortable about. And there's plenty of stuff out there. I mean, I was watching his deposition this morning on, hey, have you ever gotten a felony before? I have. What were your felonies for? One was for solicitation of prostitution, and the other one was solicitation for a minor.
By the way, that deal never should have happened with that Palm Beach prosecutor. That was insane. That was the sweetheart deal of all deals.
Well, yeah, and so again, Vinny, I'm sorry. I know you want to say something. To me, a part of that.
Keep fighting. I kind of like it.
A part of that sweetheart deal is where people are going back and saying, I met Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi gives me the vibes of a very character, ethical type of a person. I
can tell you that.
I got nothing but positive vibes. She was very nice to my boys. She was very respectful. But to all of a sudden say that they have nothing and it's just child porn, that's confusing. By the way, you know who has the most credibility on this story here? I'm going to show you guys something that's even going to spook you a little bit. Okay? Tell me who hates Trump the most. The last 10 years, since 2016, can you tell me who hates Trump the most?
That's a long list.
By the way, that's a long list.
No, but I want you to go who was close ally, who hates him the most.
You're going to play Nancy Pelosi.
No, I'm not going to play Nancy Pelosi.
That's a good clip on Pelosi.
I'm not going to play Pelosi. You're not going to be able to guess what I'm going to play.
His old fixer, Michael Cohen.
Okay, Rob, play this clip. Watch this here. Okay.
What can you speak about your time with Donald Trump as it relates to Jeffrey Epstein, if at all?
So actually, I fell into Trump's orbit around 2005, but I became part of the Trump organization as the executive vice president and special counsel in 2007. From the time that I started to the time that I finished in 2018, I actually never heard him mention Jeffrey Epstein at all. I never saw Jeffrey Epstein in the office when I was one of the 10,000 hours in Trump's office doing work with him. I never heard Jeffrey Epstein on the phone or even call into the office. There was no relationship from the time that I started at the org to the time that I left.
And so how do you then, when you kind of look at what is transpiring now and the way he's handling it, what do you make of the way he's handling it, the reason why this scandal, if you will, this controversy, this individual has captivated so much attention and raised a lot of serious, legitimate questions?
Sure, because that's what they campaigned on. That's what he sold to his MAGA base. He was going to release the Epstein files. He was going to release the Martin Luther King files. He was going to release the John F. Kennedy files. He chose not to. It's a mistake. He should have just released the full file, because by not doing that, all it does is create these conspiracy theories. Oh, he must be guilty of something.
See, this is the part. Michael Cohen, Vinny, like, you tell me why Michael Cohen, who on any chance he's gotten to lie to destroy him, he's done it. That this probably, for him, as weird as it sounds, he has the most credibility on this topic the last 20 years to say what I know this sounds very weird.
He's been around him.
He has zero credibility.
But you know what I mean on credibility with this?
But I understand what you're saying. He would be the last person you would
He
expect.
would be the last person to defend.
Of course.
This is an easy slam dunk for you to say, well, you know, there was that one time I was sitting next door and he picked up a call and he made some jokes about underage, and I felt very uncomfortable. Yeah. And I asked him, who were you talking to? He said, my boy Jeffrey. And I had to walk it because that was the one thing that drew. Yeah. Even Bill Gates' wife said, Melinda, hey, what made me most uncomfortable with Bill Gates was who? Was a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. So you need to tell me this guy who hates Trump that much is going to defend him? It's a little weird.
But my question is this, though, guys. So it's undeniable what he was doing. He was recording. It was a blackmail operation.
He being Epstein.
Yeah. When Alex Acosta, Sean said, you know, he worked for intelligence. Could have been Mossad, could have been ours, could have been a group of people. Our thing is Pam Bondi, Bongino, Patel, that they were screaming from the rooftops. This is what, if I'm in and I'm leading up to their assignments. Then once they're in, Sean, we feel like somebody told them, hey, shh, shut up. Just like when he was arrested in Florida with that sweetheart deal you were talking about, Alex Acosta, whoever was in charge, you gave him a 12 hour, all he had to do was be there for 12 hours. So he slept at the prison. The door was open. He only had to sleep there one night. Who gives a convicted pedophile that type of access? But then when you go back, why is Epstein visiting the White House 17 times? And then Mark Middleton, Sean, who was his close aide and advisor, that guy signs him on 7 times. And then that guy suicides himself hanging from a tree with an extension cord, shotgun to the chest, no shotgun found. It's just all this stuff. All we want, Sean, as the supporters, and I get it. Trump's not on it. Put that aside. But the people that were on those tapes, Sean, those terabytes of information, we want. I know the real MAGA. We want accountability for those pieces of those demons who destroyed these kids' lives, Sean. Who these kids, by the way, I say this too. I talked to Tom about this the other day. What do you think they did with some of these girls or underage boys that were with these high-profile guys that saw their faces? You think they just let them go back into society? No, they're gone forever. We've lost 300,000 kids at our border. Thank God Trump said that they found, 10,000? What about the 290,000 that are gone? Gone. And nobody cares about them. So we have to keep talking about it. I don't think Trump's implicated, but come on. Well, I don't want to see any child porn. But you guys are seeing it, the FBI. Arrest those people. Arrest them. You see them. Why do you have cameras in every room? Whistleblower said every room, Sean. Everywhere you went, you were on camera. Who was he recording it for? And where's the footage?
I had one source tell me. Take it for what it's worth.
Yep.
I'm trying to piece this together as you are. That there were none of those tapes existed. Those tapes you just referred to. Now, as it relates to Acosta and his comment about the intelligence community, what intelligence community? We need more details. So to me, I have more questions than answers. I want the answers like you do. I don't think there's anything more repugnant, Bible even says, as much than to harm a child.
Matthew 8, chapter 8, verse 6.
Bingo. Wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I learned from this guy over here.
There's nothing more offensive to me, and I don't think anything more offensive to God if you believe in the Bible as I do. And I want the answers to the questions. Now, I'm just maybe a little bit more willing to give it more time. I want more information. I want it all revealed. Now, let's see, for example, Pam Bondi's trying to get the grand jury testimony. Dershowitz, who's a friend of mine, and man, he got caught up in this for a while, and he was so adamant he was going to sue everybody. He's like, and Dershowitz, his entire career has represented controversial figures like OJ, and in the case of Epstein, I also know David Schoen. He was friends with Epstein in the final years of his life. I interviewed him, asked what he knew about it, and I want the answers like everybody else.
Did you hear what Dershowitz had to say?
I did hear what he said.
Dershowitz wrote an article, I think it was in the Wall Street Journal.
He talked about the grand jury testimony being where the mother lode would probably be.
Yeah, I mean, whether you believe Dershowitz or not, that's on you, but I'll just sort of boil down his main 3 points. And, we live in a rush to judgment, trial by media, trial by social media society. So respect for you for waiting until actual evidence comes out versus rushing for judgment. Here's what Dershowitz had to say. Number 1, there was no client list. The list that you speak of was the victim's list. People hear list. They freak out.
I have 4 sources, not 1, not 2, not 3.
Not 4, not 5. We're winning championships
that say
here.
the same thing. That's why I said everybody rushes in with their commentary, and I'm like, of course. I'm going to wait.
He also said the 2 other things. Number 1, the tapes you speak of were public tapes. Yeah. Like we have videotapes here, all in valuetainment, everywhere you go. There's cameras all over here, but there's not cameras necessarily in PBD's office or PBD's bathroom. I don't know. This is what Dershowitz has to say. I don't know. I don't know.
Cameras in a bathroom.
Yeah.
Number 3, and this is the one that's going to freak people out, that there was actually no actual ties to intelligence agencies, whether it's Mossad, whether it's CIA. I don't know. This was his attorney. He understands the law.
I would love to hear my point.
Yes.
It's like these are all unanswered questions. Now, if there is a valid criticism, like I do believe they had a pile of an Epstein file. Mm-hmm. I don't think they went through it. They just said they had it, and probably that created a lot of hope for people, and then that has now evolved into suspicion.
Don't you think that this was Pam Bondi's job that she completely butchered? Hear me out.
Yeah.
I think Kash Patel is an honest guy. I think Dan Bongino has the highest credibility.
Yeah.
I actually believe Trump on this one. I don't think J.D. Vance has any clue what's going on in this. He wasn't around during this. Pam Bondi, she was a little known Attorney General in Florida?
Right after the Epstein thing in Florida, yeah.
I'm saying on the national scale.
She kicked ass in Florida.
Yeah. Yes. I live in Florida. I've heard her name a bunch. Yeah. On a national level, nobody heard of Pam Bondi. All of a sudden, she's catapulted to Attorney General of the United States, and she's an attractive woman. Hear me out. She sees herself on TV, national news, for the first time of her life.
I don't think
You're telling me that a star doesn't look at the, oh my God. You know who believes me? Megyn Kelly, because she's exactly what she said. Your old friend Megyn Kelly. Is Megyn Kelly wrong?
No, I'm not going to sit here and say anyone's right or wrong. I'm just saying I haven't come to my conclusion. I respect everyone's opinion. This is success in media is not a zero-sum game. My success, my failure is not rooted in anyone else's success or failure. If they come to a conclusion based on their opinion, their gut, their instincts, or information they have that I don't have, I respect it. I listen to it, I absorb it, take it in, but I have to get to the point, like I did in all of those cases I mentioned to you where I ended up being right. I spent 3 years with an ensemble cast to get to the bottom of Russia collusion. And we were unpeeling the layers of the onion, the lie. Look what it's now evolved into, right? It took 3 years of programming on radio and TV to get to that point. We were proven right. The corrupt legacy, state-run legacy media mob, they were wrong. But we did it. It happened slowly. It happened over time. We found out the Hillary Clinton bought and paid for dirty Russian dossier. Yeah, it was used as the basis of 4 FISA warrants. Hillary Clinton got a pass when it came to top secret classified information. If I have any bit of concern over this, is people are so focused on it, and they should be. I'm fine with that because I want to get the answers. I think we'll get a lot more if we get that grand jury testimony. That will be up to a judge. But here's the problem. Sunday was the 6-month mark of Trump's presidency. And what you played earlier from me and what I'm saying about it is so transformational and consequential. And he's taken on every big major issue in a way that no president that I can think of in 100 years is fundamentally shifting the country, I would argue, back to constitutional order and limited government, greater freedom. All of that's lost.
So I'll give you one thing to be thinking about. You're a sports guy. You love throwing the football at the end of your show, and so who was the team that almost had a perfect season, and at the end of it they lost because of a couple turnovers that they made, devastating. They could have gone undefeated the entire year. Would have been known as the greatest season any NFL team ever had. The Patriots,
against
right?
the Giants, baby.
Against your Giants, right?
Yeah.
So what's the point? This is all I'm saying. All I'm saying is when you have a vision that big, and you're working your ass off the way that you are, and you're trying to juggle all these different projects at the same time, you have to talk to your leadership team. No more turnovers moving forward. Not at this level. This could have been prevented. This was a massive fumble that could have been prevented by the team. Because to Trump's credit, when Trump did that interview with Rachel Campos Duffy, and she asked, and she goes like this, so Mr. President, you know which scene I'm talking about? She's like this, right? And she says, so are you going to release the John F. Kennedy? Yes. Are you going to release the Martin? Yes. 9/11? Yes. Not this one, Rob. Are you going to release the Epstein? Yes. I don't know. Because, so even then, Trump didn't give a definite answer.
No. He's like, some people's names might be on there, and they might not be.
To his credit, he's not ran on this.
True.
He's not ran on this. His team ran on this.
Great point.
This is the scene right here. His team ran on this. And Rob, I don't know if you're going to, okay, is it right off the bat she says that? Yeah, right off the bat. Okay, play from the beginning.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would. Well, I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
You can pause it right there. So to me, I get it.
That's revealing too, in my view. And when you're talking about, like, for example, you call somebody a racist, you're basically saying they're evil to me. There are certain things that you accuse people of that it will take them down hard. If in the files they have, and this is, I think, the point that Trump was making when he brought up, remember who put these files together? 4 years, Biden Justice Department had all of it. Nobody even asked for them to release it. It was never an issue. And you could say, okay, well, Trump kind of half said he would release it, but then said maybe not because there might be innocent names in there. But then you look at the people that put it together, maybe when they got to the bottom of it, and we'll find out, I think, over time. Maybe I'm just a little more patient than your average person. But maybe there are innocent people. Maybe there are allegations in there. By the way, you're a pedophile. Okay, you're on the list. Now you have to defend yourself, but you're not a pedophile. What happens to that person's life? Falsely accused. I've seen that a lot in my life, too.
Many times, to a lot of guys.
When I met with those kids from Duke Lacrosse, I actually drove out to their house, and this is why I ended up being right, and everybody else was wrong. There were nearly 100 professors at Duke, jumped on the bandwagon. They wanted these kids taken down. Those kids' lives are never going to be the same. Richard Jewell's life was never the same. Darren Wilson left the police department. His career was ruined. It's like we are too quick to do that. Now, with all that said, there's no doubt in my mind that Epstein is a creep, a scumbag, a lowlife.
Why is he, though?
Well, I mean, just what we know from the trial, the sweetheart deal that he got the first time.
So what people want is when you study this guy's lifestyle and what he did and how he made his money, and Lex Wexner giving a $77 million most expensive private residence in Manhattan to him as a gift, when he gets a $158 million consulting fee from Leon Black, when he has an 8,000 square foot property in New Mexico, that he was practicing eugenics and his DNA being transformed and passed down to different people. When you look at it's a lot of weird things with this guy. So we can continue there. But the last thing I'll wrap up on this, by the way, when you're saying all that stuff, I agree, because Trevor Bauer's career in baseball was destroyed.
Yep.
Pasadena court by a girl that lied, and no one in the MLB wants to sign this guy. Sure. Yeah. And you could have gotten a $250 million contract to $300 million contract, made some real money. He lost a few $100 million because of a lie. Because of a lie, they destroyed this guy's potential on income. Now, he still loves the game so much that he's playing for nothing because they love the game. But this guy's dream was to play in baseball. It was entertaining to watch. So you're right. All that happens. I'll wrap up the last thing and we'll go to the next.
Let me ask you
I want to go to the Russian side with you.
Is there anything you think I'm doing wrong? Anything that I'm saying?
No, not at all. No, the only reason, when we've been podcasting for 5 years. We started this 5 years ago. My content was purely, I'm a business guy. I'm a business guy that grew up in Iran, that came up here and, made his money, went to the U.S. Army, went into the stock market, became a stockbroker with Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, built an insurance company, sold it. But as a financial advisor, when you're in it for 25 years, what you learn to do is a needs analysis every day. What is a needs analysis? A needs analysis, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, what is your income? What are your expenses? How much money do you have in a CD? What do you have in a 401k? What do you have in a defined benefit? What do you have in a 457? Do you have a 529 for your kids? How important is it for you to put your kids in a private school? How much money do you want to set aside for your kids to go to private school? Are you planning on paying for their school tuition or not? Are you planning on letting them go to community? Do you want to do a 50-50? Do you want to have some money for them to start a business? Do you not want to pay anything for them? At what age do you want to retire? How much income do you want to retire with? When you're programmed to just ask questions and then you go into podcasting, your natural instinct is to constantly be asking questions because that's what you've been trained to do in financial services.
Every question you guys are asking is the right question.
Right.
And I think we need answers.
And so to me, to think when you're saying about Mossad and CIA, guys, the movie Argo came out 30 years after because CIA has a certain number of 30 years to not release. And, KGB guy comes out and he writes a book on what the KGB really did with the papers and who they controlled and who they planted different places. For us to assume that we're going to know right off the bat, we're being a little bit naive to think that we're going to know everything about what it is.
Yeah, because I was just going to say, I want to make one correction because we're talking about the Bible. It's Matthew 8, chapter 18, verse 6. I said 8 and 6, number 1. But yeah, guys, if they are intelligence, think about Mossad, what they did with the pagers and our CIA. They're very good, all of them, Sean, at making everybody guess and ask these questions. That's their job. But when we say rushing the judgment, Epstein was a pedophile convicted pervert since when? It's 25 years later. Why is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail? There's no
for trafficking young women.
Where are the victims? I don't believe that there's a list like there's a name, Bill Clinton, or all these names. No. It's what is she in jail for trafficking at him? They're saying that he didn't do anything. All this stuff is all bullshit. Why is she in jail?
Nobody's saying that he didn't do anything.
Well, why is she in jail for 20 years if there's
Why don't you pull up what she was charged with and convicted of? That doesn't have to be a mystery.
Where's the one client? Fine. What is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison for? And then ready for this? Where's the customer? That's like arresting Sean for being a freaking drug kingpin, and none of his clients are behind him.
Don't bring Sean Hannity.
Sean sells weight. He sells cocaine. Sean sells cocaine, but
you see how easy it is to make allegations. Now he has to defend himself.
I have to defend myself.
Now Sean Hannity has to defend himself. That's your BS allegations.
I want to move on to the next part. We've already talked about what Ghislaine Maxwell.
But can I ask one more question before we go?
Sure.
I mean, do we all kind of agree?
Yes.
That what?
That at the end of the day, they're unanswered questions. Maybe I'm just a little bit more willing to let this play out.
Well, you're the very few that actually has patience and maybe not rush to judgment.
But you know what taught me that?
Most people have already made up their mind.
I'm telling you what taught me that. When I talked to Richard Jewell, got one of the first interviews with him, he comes on and he says, you were the only one in the media that gave me the benefit of the doubt. That changed my life forever. And I learned, you know what? It's pretty powerful what I'm doing in the sense that it can impact people's lives. That lesson has served me well. That long list I gave, it wasn't to brag or to be, it wasn't, I promise you it wasn't. It was just to explain my methods, the way I approach things. I'm listening to Mr. Financial Advisor over here, and I'm like, holy shit, he's a genius. I'm like, all right, I got 15 questions now about my financial future.
Yeah, but I appreciate what you're saying. However, I want to follow up on.
All right, does anybody believe what Sean Hannity has just said? That he takes time. He takes time. He doesn't just rush into conclusion. Does anybody who has ever watched Sean Hannity talk about, let's say, Barack Obama, talk about black men being shot by police officers, does anybody believe in what this man has just opened his mouth and said? That is It's just unbelievable sometimes the way these people try to put out information that they themselves do not believe in. He does not believe in what he's saying. That's why he keeps asking the rest of the panel, are we all in the same pot of soup? Nobody believes in what he says. Nobody believes in what he has just said. Because this one concerns his Jesus, who is Donald Trump. That's why he's saying that I take time. I take time to draw a conclusion. I just ask questions. Go and listen to Sean Hannity talk about people he doesn't like or people he doesn't support. See how he goes straight to conclusion. And then he later on comes to his show and apologize. These people are crazy. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll try to read all the comments. Let me know what I can do to get you guys good content, because I am going to carry on doing all these political videos, reaction, saying what is happening in the world, sports, politics, relationship, anything I see, anything that catches my eye, I am going to react onto. But again, let's keep watching, let's keep talking. Peace out.